Alright, just a quick rundown of how I approached the concepting. We were using Comfy UI, which is a node-based AI image generation tool, and quite a lot more too, but that's what I'm using it for right now. Not going to go into extreme detail, but you load a checkpoint, which is it's a type of model. You can pick the models on Civit or different websites. And I ran a bunch of stuff through AI previously, asking questions, coming up with ideas, and kind of, frameworking the idea of how I was going to do this. And then it gave me kind of a workup for it. So you load your checkpoint, and then you have to have a positive and negative prompt. This just controls how the AI generates the image. A lot more specifically, these prompts are actually AI generated as well via a prompt from me, but from a different software. Just so I can really iterate and get as much detail in there as possible and make sure that I'm kind of like checking what I'm doing. And then also the detail that was put in here as the positive prompt was originally a bunch of Moon's information and such. So I threw like the entire game story and lore and everything I could into there. And then we got some information for some good prompting. Come through to your sampler. This is not important. I was just playing with that, but your sampler then runs through either a random seed or whatever else, has variables for how much it conforms to your prompting or not, how many steps, yada yada, denoising. Then you come through your VAE decode, which then breaks it down into your images. So if I were to run a prompt over here, let's see, 512 by 512, and turn the batch size to 1. With that prompt and that model, we'll do preview image. You can see it run through, so it runs through the prompts. This up here is irrelevant, it's not connected into the final. K-sampler is running through real quick, bing, hits VAE decode, and then boom, we have an image. Now this last prompt was me working around, so obviously this isn't exactly right, but I mean it's still kind of cool. This is one of the other models that actually originally I got a lot of inspiration from, because it is fantasy but realism. So the final images I used were fantasy realism blended with another model to create what I wanted. But anyway, so then after that, you get your images. I was doing batch, so getting 4 at a time. Then you plug it into here. So right now you can see I just have the reference map plugged in. I was trying something with that. But you can plug one of those images into here, and then I run it through this IP adapter, all this different stuff. Basically the same thing as before, but what we're doing this time is we're running the model, and then we're running a blender into the model that uses this image, whatever it may be, as a driver for the final. So we have a base reference from what we created based on prompt. We run that through, and then we run it through different checkpoints to get more what we want here. So yeah, and then run it through a different prompt. So this way you can kind of iterate your images. So you start with one, and then I could do a prompt for something different, but still based on that same art style, and get a different thing, like a different asset or a tree or this or that or a different perspective or angle, but I'm still basing it off of whatever this image is, whatever I put in here. So that's pretty much how it works. Just wanted to show that. It's how I went through the concepting, and I'm still working through this now.